Hey, and welcome. All right, let me take the music off. I don't think anybody's in here yet, but that way. Hey, and welcome again. That way, when somebody comes in, they'll let me know if I microphone check 1 2 1 2. If you guys can hear me okay, I decided to go a day early and do Love is Blind on a Saturday night instead of a Sunday night. Now next week, because tomorrow I have pajama Sundays, just in case you weren't aware. Now next week it may be back to that regularly scheduled Sunday early evening. So yeah, I'm just gonna come off camera really, really quickly. I get on here and get situated. You know how your girl likes to do. It's just become a thing. It's just become a thing. And then I put this sweatshirt on. I just ate and now I'm hot. We gotta tell my son to turn the air on. Cause I am roasting under these lights and then I got a little pimple situation going on here. So, you know. Hey, Terry. Hey, hey, hey. I'm here gonna try to talk about this doggone show now. It's irking my nerves, and I always have 60 million notes for what? I don't know. I just take too many doggone notes because it's 2 episodes, it's 2 couples, and it's really not giving that much. I'm gonna give it another minute. Went back to work this week, you guys, with this healing shoulder. And I'm tired. It was a long, long week. I tell you. Well, let's get on here and feel like my neckline is crooked. It was a long, long week, and your girl is exhausted, still a little sore. But then I wake up this morning and my throat's a little, I'm like, hold on to my crystal. Hold on to my crystal because I got to watch my words. Got to keep positive. Got to keep that positive energy. But my youngest son, and they were coughing before. He's back to coughing, so I don't know what's going on, and hopefully I don't have it. Ew, and I don't have enough water either. Child, I sat down thinking I was all prepared, and I am not. And I am not. I'm gonna have to get the young man in here to help his mama out. Yes, because it's hot, and I don't have no water. I don't have no ice. I'm gonna get started. Oh, you know what? Okay, so it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter. Let's see. Let's share one more place. And then here he is. Greatly appreciated, sir. What was I doing? I was sharing. I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta learn to start playing the music when I'm not talking to you good people. So you won't just be sitting here like, girl, what you doing? I am so, do you see my face sweating? And then I'll sweat this little pimple thing off. And also it makes it go crazy. But yeah. So I went back to work this week. I'd be so bothered by my neckline. Here comes the air. And the throat is a little scratchy, but we shall persevere. Other than that, get hear it a little bit. Other than that, try not to complain. Trying not to complain. So we got season 5, episodes 8 and 9. Thank you, sir. Huh? Oh, there's the water from the bottle. You didn't see the right one. It's okay. It's a huge one. A huge one in there. Gotta love how they follow directions. Which one is this? Let me take it off the screen. I'm sorry, y'all, because last time I was on here, I had technical difficulties, and I just want to make sure. Okay, that's the right one. Because I did a different slide to take JP and Taylor off of there because we are done talking about them people. So let's get right on to it. Let's try to give some time for some more people to come into the room. Listen, it's right there. It's right there. I'm like, I got water. I guess. I guess that's all that matters. Look, okay, no, it's pretty full. Because I'm like, ain't no way he filled that. It's a big old thing. He must have found like a water bottle that's in there. It's whatever, child. So yes, episode 8 is called Love is a Battlefield, and we are back at this whole pod squad little meetup that they was having, where last we left Uche and Lydia, exchanging words. So she was screaming for Milton or at the end of episode 7, and Milton was outside with Uche, and you see Uche, and Uche is saying, I didn't say anything to you about Lydia or our relationship. Like I didn't, he didn't besmirch her character. He didn't say anything negative. Okay, fine. But he's like, meanwhile, she's over in the women's quarters, giving Aaliyah the rundown of all the business. Like she really was. Hey, Tamika. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Thank you for stopping by. I know you don't watch this foolishness, and foolishness it is. And then I got my little gossipy notes at the end of breaking this down. I haven't, like I said, always entirely too many notes for what? 2 episodes full of nothing, baby. I was I was scrolling through YouTube and I didn't even click on it, but Couples Couch, their breakdown for episodes 8 and 9 was 5 minutes. I was like, 5 minutes, but yeah. So like I said, Lydia was over there running her mouth to Aaliyah, giving her all the rundown. She was upset. Because now he has to recount the whole situation with him and Lydia. I don't think Milton cares, but this is what he's going to do. So he is saying that she was upset, but he was trying to be nice, but she was dishonest with him. And then what happens? Let me sit a little closer to the microphone. Here comes, turn this a little bit. Here comes Lydia. Milton, she did not want him talking to Uche. He's like, can I talk to my friend for 5 minutes? And I said, now, Uche, Brett and Marshall from last season, now they had a friendship, and I will even throw Kwame in there. But Uche and Milton, I'm like, not so much. People like to throw that word friendship around too loosely, if you ask me. So she ends up dragging him away. And I said, now, Lydia, just last episode, which was a few minutes before this, you were having a conversation with Uche, and Milton was like, oh, we had 10 minutes. You were like, Milton, just let me. And you sent Milton away and he let you talk. But now when he wants to talk, now you don't want him to hear what Uche has to say. So that's why I was like, both of them just be up in this thing lying. So Uche, he goes to running back to the group list. He's ready to shout it from the mountaintops. And now he finally wants to tell people that they were dating, and Lydia put them in a situation and that she knew she was being cast. Now I said that he was being cast. Now, when Leah mentioned that some episodes back, it was preposterous. You didn't want to hear it. You thought like, oh my God, that's not possible. Which, I mean, I guess if you think about it, like once he gets on, how would she then be able to get on? I don't know if that's possible or not, or they just happen to apply at the same time, baby. I don't know how it went, but there's all kinds of TikToks and People articles, and the producer's name that I forgot in the last live, his name is Chris. He been talking, and it's just this season, like I said, it's a lot of drama, but it's not like the fun, juicy drama of last season. It's like drama for drama's sake, and some of it's a little depressing, but we're gonna move on. So Johnny's like, she got the shock face. Here goes Stacy. Is your face okay? What's wrong with your face? I said, Stacy, chill. Izzy even said something to her. So now he brings up what Aaliyah has said to him about running into someone from her past. And, he's like, but, she got this. What was her goal? We would all like to know what Lydia's goal was. So he's like, oh, she sabotaged your relationship. Now, Uche said in some interview, because your girl be cruising through these TikTok streets, and I forgot to get the TikToker's name down, but he said that what we saw when he was being nasty with Aaliyah and saying this isn't going to work, they added that in as a soundbite after the fact. And if you do go back and look to it when it's being said, you don't see his face. So that could be true or not. I'm just sharing it with you. And if you guys want to believe it, we could take it around with it. If not, just throw it in the garbage. But he was basically saying that the two of them were holding hands and they left and then they were dating afterwards. I mean, clearly they're not together, because another little tidbit of information that I was going to leave for the end for the gossip section. Oh, I'm doing all this talking, and let me just put this up there while I can. Sorry to the sister Aaliyah. I ain't feel like making a whole new slide just for Uche. So let me throw that up there. But yeah, so what I was saying is Aaliyah put on her IG, she got a new boo, and everybody was like, oh, like basically the problem that we have with these reality shows is them dishing the dirt, giving us the tea before the season's even wrapped. So what anticipation? But it looks like what they showed us is she left the experiment altogether. So I guess she thought, it was fine to put a whole bunch of pictures of her boyfriend up all over her Instagram. I'm not mad. I'm just glad she's not with Uche. Hey, Shayna. Thank you for coming through. We trying to talk through this nonsense. Like I said, your girl be having 60,000 notes for no reason. I wish my memory was good enough to do it off my memory, but it really ain't. So, okay, Uche, you saying that Lydia said, and then that gives me pause, because you're saying Lydia sabotaged your relationship. Well, when was this shot? Because you're telling us that you two ended up dating. So now, which is it? Like, gotta make it make sense a little. Can't be both ways. Can't be she sabotaged your relationship, which I mean, I guess she still did. And she definitely was putting a bug in her ear to certain things to turn her off and run her away. Like, I definitely got that vibe. So before Johnny made the face, he was saying something about she blocked his IG, not Johnny. When Johnny made the face and Stacey interrupted. Because he was like, oh my God, let me finish. Like I said, he wants to shout it for the rooftop. Uche is definitely looking for a moment, looking for some camera time, if you ask me. But he said something about Lydia blocking his IG, and he never did get to finish. And I think there's more to it, because what he's trying to insinuate in these streets is with the whole thing with production and them adding that piece and him and Aaliyah dated after and, whatever. Because somebody was asking, like, was it her looks? Were you not attracted to her? And he says, actually they left holding hands and they dated for a little while. But another thing is he's trying to say something about, I guess, maybe her hacking potentially his IG. When I get the updates, I'll update you guys for episode 10. So the ladies say, oh, that's not what happened. And Stacey's like, when you was coming for Aaliyah for the whole cheating thing, that Lydia was comforting her. He's like, yeah, well, that was before Aaliyah found out. And that's very true. So now in the midst of all of this, he waves Miriam off because Miriam's trying to say her 2 cents. And sis, she did not like that. He calls her bitter, and he gets up and he's like, my whole thing, I'm like, why you only want to, he's like, I want to hear what Stacey had to say. Why do you only want to hear what Stacey had to say? what problem you had with Miriam? Like, yeah, she got a little lying problem. And so do you. So then he's like, do you live in Saudi Arabia or do you live in Texas? Do you work? Do you have do you work or do you have your own business? Like he was just going on, and I was like, I mean, he do have a point because we were all a little confused with that. But then he says that she's there for the cameras, like I said, and so is he, and she's fake. And I was like, this is a whole like again, I said, this is a whole lot of energy, and I'm not quite sure what it's for. He did, but I was like, at the same time, I said, why so much energy between the two of them? He calling her bitter, and I'm like, how many dates did y'all go on? So she ain't trying to hear none of it. And she's like, I'm not Lydia or Aaliyah. You're not going to make me cry. Basically, she's like, I'll hurt your feelings. But he did get the best of her just a little bit. They was sparring a little something, something. And another side note, I have to go look for myself, but they say that Miriam's skincare line is not bleaching cream. I said, okay. It's something to do with like butters and dry skin. So I was like, she probably had eczema and made this formula, and maybe she didn't want somebody to take it. But in any event, Lydia and Milton, they come and join the group. And Johnny's like, okay, girl, let me tell you what Uche had said. So then Lydia's like, she's again filling them in how Uche cheated and that he's garbage. And I said, child, but you wanted a fresh start. So, like you want to be back with him. So like I said, again, they both be lying. And I think they both still kind of got feelings for each other. I'm not saying they want to be back together, but Lydia and Uche, child. So Milton leaves Lydia with the group, and he finally goes to talk to Uche. And Uche, he wanted to spill the beans about the IG stalking, and he was like, "Oh, I got screenshots. Like, you want me to show you the screenshots?" And Milton was like, "Nah, I'm good." I said, "Okie dokie." So he says that he doesn't want to affect their relationship, but that she planned to be there. I'm like, how you gonna say this and then say that? And that's what he says. So he's like, she just can't let go because she just can't let go. And I said, you little stinking narcissist. And I'm like, and you're having this conversation with him, not out of friendship, but in my eyes, because you want to break the two of them up. You're mad because you and Aaliyah broke up, so you don't want Uche to be with, old girl. But I digress. So Milton is like, perception is people's reality, child. He started talking about the Pythagorean theorem and parallels, and he started getting his smart bag, and I was like, moral to the story. I appreciated his calm, but the moral to the story is like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, what Lydia and you had going on back then is what y'all had going back then, and this what we doing. Like, I'm good, and like I said, I appreciated that. So Uche is questioning, like, but do you feel like you guys are in the honeymoon phase? And I said, okay, Uche, now who's coming across as bitter? He's telling him, I wish you the best and to be careful. He wants to still be friends with you. He still wants to be friends with her. Still wants to be friends with him. Right? So Milton's walking away. He's like, yeah, see you in the group chat. I'm like, Milton ain't fooling with you, Uche, at all. So now, like I said, this whole thing is just messy. This is, the whole little mashup of the pod peoples. And Chris and Izzy are having this conversation, and Izzy's like, he wants the best for Chris, but he's trying to insinuate that Johnny got a little lying problem. And Chris is like, I don't think that she's a bad person. And you said that I said that. That's not what I said. And Izzy's like, well, I just find it funny because she said she loved me 4 times, which I don't remember that. But I mean, it could be part of me be checking out on this show, so maybe it's that. If you guys remember seeing that, feel free to correct me. Izzy's another one like Uche. He likes that camera time. I'm like, you men are something else. And then in comes Stacy, and she's like coming that way to get away from Johnny. She's like, oh, y'all over here talking about Johnny. 2 seconds later, here comes Johnny. Do, 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 do. It's all lies. Everything they're saying is lies. I said, well, that's very telling. And so Johnny, no, I think Chris was saying how the stories are conflicting, and I'm assuming he means Izzy and Johnny. It was a lot. Stacy's like, you was full of it in the pods, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows it. I'm like, Johnny is saying that Stacy is deceitful for not like revealing her pick. No, y'all are technically in a competition, so she didn't have to tell you anything. Now you ran your mouth, and she did kind of go back and use that, but that's really on you, if you ask me. So Stacy looks at him. He's like, if she's so great, why didn't you propose? I said, oh, well. And then Johnny's like, well, no. So she starts to say something about I was coming off a breakup. And Izzy's like, you weren't my girlfriend. I said, oh, here we go. And it was really starting to feel like a gang up. And Chris really couldn't help her out much. But I was like, long story short, Chris is like, we're good. Johnny cries. And then Stacy and Izzy run it back to the group, and the group didn't look like they cared too much about what happened and what was going on. So then when they get home, they feeling pleased with themselves, or at least Izzy is. And they start talking about it. And Stacy doesn't understand, like, what is the big deal? He's like, I want the best for Chris. He's giving this all Chris, Chris, Chris. And she's like, Chris ain't your friend. I said, tell him, girl. He's not. He's really, really not. Like, Chris ain't even fooling with you. So he's like, man, I'm glad that I chose you. And how he was turned on when she was jumping on Johnny. I said, this is a little sick. But Stacy's like, she don't want to be compared to Johnny. Like, I don't want to be compared to the crazy, but I don't even know if that's the word she used, crazy person. But long and short of it is she did not want to be compared to Johnny. And I can understand. So basically they get into this conversation about how she wants him to show improve and do the things that he promised to do in the pods. Now he thinks that he's doing it, but at the same time he says he's rarely home. So again, them two things, I don't know how they add up. And he says that she makes him feel like he's not enough for her. And he run off to the bathroom crying, child. After that, I was like, I'm gonna like write notes for that. Because Stacy going there like, what you crying for? They speak their speech and they move on, and then we pick up with them the next day. But quickly we get a scene from Lydia and Milton also talking about what happened. And Milton ain't starting none of it. He don't really care, or at least he seemed very unbothered at this moment. And she says that she doesn't care, but it's clear that she does. And he's just like, he's not trying to give the thing all this energy. So, like I said, back to Izzy and Stacy. I'm forgetting to move my slides again. It be so many moving parts to this doggone StreamYard that like I be trying to in my notes and then this and that. It's here. So I guess Stacy's like a Pilates instructor, and I said I have to go back. You know what? I'm not afraid to go look at stuff on my phone while I'm on with y'all. Do I even still have the screenshots here, or did I delete them? So maybe that's her shy job, because her thing says director of operations, but it looked like she was leading like a Pilates class or some type of exercise class. In any event. So, they go to the side and he is feeling unappreciated. I said, okay, this is giving me love and hip hop. He's sounding like scrappy and I didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, Izzy is always looking for a freaking pat on his back. Like, he needs too much reassurance for me. So she basically is like, she looking for some reciprocity. And I can fully understand that whatever it is she's doing for her, she wants him to do the same in return. He got his Monday flowers, so he think he's doing something. And she's basically saying they don't have much time. So again, he needs to show improve and show up and show out. So he gives her a gift. He gives her a coupon for like, cooking and cleaning and all those little good things around the place. And he gives her a plunger and it says something on it about like the shit going down in Mexico, but they gonna work through it. Child, she was moved by it. I was like, I guess so. It was sentimental, but it was kind of gross at the same time. I mean, I know it was new when he wrote on it, but don't give me no plunger, okay? And he also gave her like a photograph. I think it was of the group of them. Initially, I thought it was just the two of them, but when he was showing it to his mom later, I was like, oh, okay. So, speaking of his mom, she comes to visit them at their place, and she seemed pretty chill. And I was surprised because I thought he had said something like she wasn't very receptive to the process. But she basically said that, she was shocked, but she's also excited at the same time, and she wants to make sure that they're making the right decision. Now, this show, I don't know if I've said this on here before or if it was when I did Love is Blind a previous time, but like my son's 21. If he decided to do Love is Blind, I would get on there and try to be on my best behavior and support him, knowing that this is probably not a great decision, that it's a very small amount of time to get to know somebody and get married. Now it's the catch 22 of it. You have some people that know each other for a long time and get married, and they're married for a long time and still get divorced, or some of them stay together, or some people that are married, well, get married in a short amount of time and they stay married for forever, and some get divorced. So I would just try my best to, just show up for him because, that's my child. So I try to be supportive of everything he does. He ain't commit no crimes. I try to show up and be supportive. And I guess, that's kind of the approach that Izzy's mom took, but she wants to make sure they're making the right decision. But she does say that they have her support. So Stacy comes in and they talk, back and forth, and she gets a hug and everything. But mom just wants them to know that it's not a game and wants to make sure this is the right person. Stacy says she's in love and that he brings out her vulnerable side. And I was like, and the mom, she basically don't want them to hurt each other. It was so much more said, but I mean, that's the gist of it. Now, what I should have done is condense these damn notes about Milton and freaking Lydia going to see. There we go. I'm like, come on, slides, because now that I'm remembering you, come on. So they hold on. I'm gonna come off camera 1 second because the nose be nosing. I don't understand what it is. Like, he is nervous, and I do remember him saying before that he had a strict upbringing, and you could see that in this interaction. So we see his sister, Jessica, his mom. I don't remember. Rita? Was it Rita? I think it's Rita. And his dad. Now, the sister's husband, forgot his name, and their child was also there. Like I said, he says that they were strict. Looks like they're probably still strict. And they're giving that educated black excellence, take no ish, like it's typical black parent stuff. If you know, you know. And we find out that Milton is little James. Milton is Milton the fourth, and that his name is James Milton, and they call him Little Milton. His dad is Big Milton, who's also another tall dude, but also he got a little weight to him. So, they're talking to Lydia, and she runs down, her education and where she's from. She's from Puerto Rico. She's running down, bachelor's, master's. And the mom likes that she's into STEM. Love the ladies that are into STEM. Also, um, and the sister was like wanting the mom to deep dive. And the dad, he's asking, like, what made you decide to do this? And Lydia's saying, that she's been unsuccessful in her dating experience. And the sister's like, I can't remember if it was at this point, but the sister's like, have you ever dated someone that's, his age? And she says no. And the mom I don't know if it was the mom or the sister was like, okay, so what does a 30-year-old find interesting about a 24-year-old? And I was like, ooh, here it goes. And she's like, oh, he's mature for his age. And they start asking a whole bunch of questions. We get into his messiness, which it sounds like his mom and sister are very familiar with his messiness, child. But I mean, I don't want to say he's 24 because you get grown ass men that's old. Not that he's not a grown ass man, but you get men older than that that don't pick up after themselves. That's why I'm like, with these boys in here, like, let's clean up after. And if I had a girl, it would be the same thing. We just all need to be able to take care of themselves. So the mom is asking, like, is that a deal breaker? And she's like, she don't really fool with the laziness of it all. It bothers her. And the mom's like, he can learn. And sister's like, nope, nope, that's not about to change. Like, that just is what it is. And they're asking if he's ready for this responsibility. Now, at one point, the sister was like, your answers are very mature. And I'm like, ooh, child. But they asking him if he's ready, why he's getting married. He messing with the sister like, man, go ahead, stop. And then when they were asking Lydia a question, he over there opening a wine bottle with his teeth. I said, Milton, come on, bro. But when she asked the question, I said to myself, I said, did he ever answer her? He didn't. Because Lydia was like, wait, what was the answer? The sister said, he says he loves you. He says he loves you. She was giving the whole thing a hard time, but she did try to um cover for him real quick. Uh yeah, the sister was just having a really hard time of it. Like the sister doesn't believe that like this is a whole real thing or he's ready or whatever. And the brother-in-law is trying to like he had popped back in because at first he ran off like I got nothing to do with this. But then he kind of tried to defend him, saying that they spoke about it before. Um and Milton is like he wasn't like pursuing it, but it was definitely on his mind. Dad is chiming in. Now the roommates had said that he's ready for marriage, and I don't know how ready you are at 24. Look, I was trying to get married at 24 too, and I'm so glad I didn't. At that point, the sister is like, "This is phony." I was like, "Oh," the dad's like, "No, no, it's not." So the mom, she wants to make sure. So basically, the mom and the sister Jessica, they pull Lydia to the side because they're like, enough, 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 enough is enough. But the mom at least seem to know how to pretend to be more receptive to the sister. The sister, you could tell she's the older sister and she's not for all the games and the shenanigans as it pertains to her brother. So Lydia is saying that he is the first guy to treat her right. And I'm like, that's not really good, but I mean, for her at least. And the mom addresses the thing of her answers seeming rehearsed. And she's like, this is who she is. No, because when they run back the show, they gonna see. Yeah, it was giving rehearsed. It was giving phony. It was giving your representative. Um, and the mom is asking, what about him getting a PhD? She says she supports it. Like Lydia don't have no wrong answers. So now they turn to her and say, well, is there anything that you want to know about him? What's she gonna ask? Are you married to the baby being James Milton the fifth? I was like, I hope they cut out something and then she asked a little more than that. So, the mom's like, oh, my baby's growing up. And Lydia's like, she finally asked her sister, like, what's your concern? Because like I said, the sister is not here for the bulls of it all, okay? So she's basically telling her, because clearly we see her husband and her kids, marriage is big. But she claims she's ready, she's matured, she's worked on herself. And I had in my notes that the sister does not look like she's buying it. And I really thought coming in and seeing the promos for it that it was really going to be the mom, but I think the mom just kind of pretended to keep it together a little more because kind of as the mom, you got to kind of at least show your child that you're going to somewhat be supportive. Otherwise, they're going to run headfirst into exactly what you don't want them to do. So I think that's why the mom was kind of airing on a let's be cooler about it side, and the sister, and she was like, I'm big sis. If I don't step up, who will? So the sister was like, Jessica, I know my brother, I know when he's happy, sad, mad, glad, all of the things. And she don't see it for the situation. She don't see it for Lydia. And I don't blame her. I'm gonna come off the screen really, really quickly take a quick little water break. Just give your girl a minute. You know what I can do before we get into episode 9, Love on the Rocks. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Please and thank you. Okay, like I said, I don't know why I have so much to say about 2 episodes, baby. 2 episodes. But one thing I can tell you, episode 9 did not give nothing at all. Now, one thing I did notice that we did not get a bachelor or a bachelorette party, or at least we didn't see one this season. So that was a little like, I don't know how to feel about this one. This season was definitely different to say the least. So we've never seen this before. Hold on. Okay, you good? All right. We've never seen this before, but because they had to give us every last little bit of footage they could, we see Izzy and Stacy and also Milton and Lydia picking up their marriage license, and then we go dress shopping and tuxedo shopping again. This part I should be able to get through relatively quickly because it was in nothing. Nick and Vanessa were there, and I was like, oh, y'all are still around. So, and I think why I did not realize whatever episode it was that Lydia was a junior. I'm like, well, her mom is Lydia senior. I was like, that's pretty cool. Tracy was there with her mom, and she had a jean jacket on that said Mrs. Zapata on the back. It was all blinged out. Her friend got it for her, which was totally corny, but I like it. I love personalized things. Being a Kira, there was never Kira on anything. It wasn't a Mary or names like that. So whenever my mom would buy me anything with my name on it, I would be totally excited. So it was corny, but I liked it. She's telling her mom that Izzy is calming. This is why did I write Tracy? Stacy. That just goes to show you how much I was really interested in this episode. I'm curious to go see what they did in their 5-minute recap. So the first dress is a no. They're going and looking through all the dresses. Then Stacy is built for this. She's she's not new to this. She's true to this. She's a shopper. So the first dress is a no because of course they can't give you the first dress can't be it. So the second one, which was cute little strapless, seamless bustier typo with like a super tutu, as she was kind of calling it. So she was happy about that. Have no notes for Lydia. No notes for Lydia. Lydia, same thing. First dress is a no, but she want to be able to twerk in the dress. I'm like, you don't look like you could twerk if you try, but she giving it the best she got. She wants something a little more form-fitting. Tries on the next dress. She's like, this is perfect. It's got a little attached train and she wants to put a little sleeve on it. I said, is this a Spanish, Latina, Latinx? I don't know what to call her. I don't want to use the wrong word. But if anybody's watching now or in the replay and you are part of the community, please share. Because was it Bliss, who I believe was Mexican? And I don't even want to say what she was. But like, I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. The sleeve just seems to be a thing. So second dress was it for her. We see them tux shopping. Milton says he's excited. Izzy's mom is there. That was something that was notable. Izzy's, talking about, not Izzy, Milton was talking about, Lydia being a little emotional, and I hate that word. And him basically not having a filter, which I'm like, and he seemed like such a nice guy. I mean, not that that doesn't make you a nice guy, but I don't know how to feel about that. But Milton was given when I was looking at him, I meant to mention this, like, I don't even remember on one of the lives, but Milton was giving, I'm sorry, I lied to you, Martin. I think that was the same little boy that was Moesha's brother. I said, oh my God, he do look like Miles. I digress. But baby, like I said, this season is not as eventful. After we had that last season and like Jacquelina not showing up to try on her dress, this whole situation was basically just light work. So they're going on there, we got the two couples and they're going on their last two dates. So we got Stacy and Izzy, and they're going to take a plane ride because Dad says she likes first class and she likes private jets. So they're gonna get on this plane and they're gonna take a ride, and it was cute or whatever. And after they were done, they kind of stuck around in a hangar and they had dinner, and I thought that was super duper cute. She was getting the romance that she was looking for, so I was like, okay, two thumbs up to Izzy, although we don't know if he thought of that. So he didn't have to worry about splitting the bill. Something else I was gonna say about that, but if I remember the next live, I didn't write it down, so we'll talk about it then. Milton and Lydia go on their last date to like a museum. They love their rocks and their geology. Oh, but before we get to the date, he goes out to eat with his sister, and the sister Jessica, she's asking what Lydia thought about meeting the family, and she says that she thought it was intense, and then Milton's like, but I thought it went better than it was going to go better than he expected. um he's talking about the differences in the family, her family's giving, and I forgot what the other word was. And she's like, we're giving or whatever. And then he gets into the emotional thing. She's like, yeah, nah, we don't do the emotions. So he says, the dynamic is different. And clearly we can see that they're not emotional. He brought that up in the pods. He's been articulating that to Lydia as best as he can. They got, some work to do. And clearly the sister is also admitting that, like, oh, we don't do all of that. So she's asking him what makes him so sure. And he says it's his gut because, he always going with the scientific. I hope you cannot hear them children really just screaming and yelling at each other in the next room. Distracted. So everything he does is scientific. He, weighing things on scales and pie charts and graphs and everything else, child. She is not looking convinced. She says she loves him and she gonna shoot straight about it, but she says it's seeming fake and marriage is hard. And excuse me, you could just tell, like I said, how she was raised, and she brain is processing faster than the lips. How he was raised, Milton is basically saying this is my make it simple explanation that Lydia is checking the boxes, the education, the job, and also she brings that emotional factor that he's not used to, and that will be good for him. But they not for each other, but it's a show, so be watching. The sister starts talking about kids, and kids is huge, and have you talk about parenting styles, baby. Yes, because so rarely when you're getting married or when you're not, because I didn't get married and I have kids, do you discuss them parenting styles. And that was a huge shocker. Like I said, I was young. I was 20 something when I had my first son, but it's a conversation that everybody needs to have about parenting styles. Like, it's a must. I won't go off on a tangent like I want to, but she just wants to know how they had all the conversations. Milton, he ain't worry about it. He be chilling. So then, child, I said, what happened with Stacy and Izzy? She's saying that she doesn't know if she can trust him. And I was like, what is going on? Because like we cut to them and they're in the place, and I guess like we're nearing the end of this whole thing. And he ain't folded nothing, shoving everything like a ball into this luggage. I'm like, it might fit a little bit better if it. She said something about credit cards. And I said, oh, child, was Johnny right about his credit? Looks like it. So he has says that it's paid off, but he has bad credit. Now, the long and the short of it, from what I could understand, because they were not being straightforward, the same way that she was talking about, I don't know if it was earlier on episode 8, but how he be going all around the bush when it comes to explaining things. They was kind of going all around the bush with this situation. So I think they were getting gas. And she was like, she had asked them before more than once about a credit card. Either I don't know if he said he didn't have it with him, or if he copped that he didn't have a credit card. But she was like, use a credit card for points. He ain't got no credit card. He credit bad. He's working on it. He claims it's only like 3,500. Um, so she was saying something about him going in circles. See, I have it in my notes. And he does. And I'm like, dang, I'm sitting here like nobody is getting married, but it's just very weird. They talked it out very, very quickly. And she hugs him and says that it's gonna be okay. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. So then we get to Milton and Lydia, and they go into the museum, and they're going to go see rocks and minerals. It was really pretty though. It did look really, really nice. I was like, oh, that looks like something interesting. Now, I don't know if you would have to have somebody like the two of them into the sciences to do it for a date. And I don't know if my kids would be interested, but maybe if I just took a little solo trip through the museum, check out the rocks and the minerals. So they sit down and they have dinner there. And like I said, I like this date. I like the date at the hangar, that they're sitting in like the facility and they're having a date and look really, really romantic. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Oh, and um, make sure you have your headphones on because I'm recording. Um, this was another one. So we get into like, you're different than you were in the pods. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, sometimes you wake up and you're angry. And she's like, because basically she got to clean up after him. This man then left his plate on the couch and he's kind of like, well, I knew you would pick it up. It's a whole lot of back and forth about this man picking up. Um, he says he tries his best, but he can work harder. And I'm like, I don't really think you're going to. But also, why does she always seem to be so bothered by things? And he kind of elaborates into that she kind of gets, emotional. Well, that wasn't going to happen. And this is who she picked with, because she did spin the block and go get Milton and his rocks, which was who she should have ended up with in the first place. And had she maybe never talked to Uche, but this is the better couple. But I know she had a problem with the age thing, so she threw him to the curb. And then when Izzy threw her to the curb, here she is. So he's saying he feels like he has to watch his words. And we go back to the speaking of Uche, the Uche things, and he didn't like how she handled the situation. And she said that she's proud of herself and how she handled herself or the situation, because she feels like she just not gonna let nobody talk to her like that and handle her like that. And I'm like, you was looking real guilty the way you was screaming and yelling and hopping up from that table and then came back. Like, because basically what he said, why does my voice have to do that? Basically what he said, and I can't remember if that was in this moment or earlier, that she should have only got up once. She got up twice. I think it was just get up and walk away, because he was basically saying that like he doesn't let disrespect. I can't remember what he said, and it was so good how he said it. something about not giving disrespect power. Like, he's not gonna let people handle him any old type of way either. But also, like, I'm not gonna let you ruffle my feathers, so I'm gonna let you walk away and kind of look stupid. But we all know that Milton is not highly emotional, so he feels that she doesn't listen and that she gets defensive. Um, Child, at some point in the conversation, she got up and walked away, and Milton was like, all right. And she turned around and she brought her behind back in there. I'm like, she was really, really, really looking for him to chase after her. So next week is the weddings. It's only two couples, so it shouldn't be but one episode, because sometimes they like to drag out the getting ready, and then you might see one couple or you don't see it, and then it's the next episode. But with this one, it's only freaking two couples left. So we should get the weddings next week, episode 10. Like I said, I should be coming back. We're going back to doing it on a Sunday next week. So hopefully you guys will come through. If the later time, not this late, but if the later time, what time did I do it last time? Yeah, probably like 7:30. It's probably gonna be 7:30 on Sunday, but check that community tab. Keep your notifications on. I don't think either one of these couples are getting married. I think but you guys can let me know your predictions. So if you're here now, like Shana, you can let me know what you think. Anybody that's coming through on the replay, you could put it down in the comment section if you feel inclined. But I mean, I feel kind of like with the two on the screen, that she could potentially say yes and him say no. I don't think any couple is going to like both say yes and get married. That's just mine. I say that like there's not them. And I got to take them off for next week. Stacy and Izzy. He may say yes and she says no. That's my prediction. Ain't neither one of them getting married. Oh, you know what? Let me leave this up here for 1 second. Let's just pop it back up this way. Because I will get into, before we get out of here, and I give you my updates on what's going on my channel and all of that good stuff. We will get into the gossip of it all, because, these reality shows, they're just allowing them to just talk freely before the season is even finishing. I don't get it. Like I said, Aaliyah has pictures of her and her boyfriend on IG. Just glad she's not with Uche. Glad she's happy. If she's happy, hope she's happy. 2 thumbs up. She's a beautiful woman. Moving along. Chris doesn't look like he's with Johnny anymore, because his girlfriend was posting him, and somebody done found that. Izzy did a interview with Vile Files. Now, I got this. This is from Rob on TikTok that I follow. I think I reposted it on my TikTok page. With Vile Files, he said that he didn't give any spoilers. He's like, I don't know why he did the interview. He said he's gonna come back, but he kind of just talked up to the current episode. Well, before these last two, homeboy said he had plates and a bunch of other stupid stuff. What else did he say? Oh God, he had plates. We don't know if he's with the girl. I forgot, child. I'm gonna write it down next time. I'm gonna write it down next time so I can tell you guys right before we do I'll do that right before we do episode 10. Or we'll see what order I put it in. So now there's another TikToker. Is something with Ricky. I don't feel like looking. Is her name, but she said that there were 4 couples that they did not show. So we had Estefania and Jared. I want to go pull up no pictures because it wasn't that serious. Renee and Carter, who we saw Carter with that little trucker hat on in the what's it called? When they had like the little pod squad deal. He was there talking about I would want my daughter to marry JP. And I'm like, 2 thumbs down for Carter. 2 thumbs down for Carter because JP says that he was home on January 6th, but I don't believe him. But Renee and Carter were on the Mexico trip, but the whole gag or the rumor about that is that she had a boyfriend the whole time who she's now currently married to. Now she says that this is not true, so I guess maybe they broke up and she went on the show and she got back with him. I don't know what her explanation is for it, but she's saying no, no, no. But that's why that Mexico trip was so that, and one other reason, gonna get to that at the end, but that was one of the reasons why the Mexico trip was so short, because they cut all their scenes out. I'm trying to figure out why Netflix would do that. Like, you let the Uche, I ain't gonna get into it. Another couple was Enoch and Erica, and then we had Josh and Paige, which these two apparently knew each other before, so to speak. So I was like, so y'all left us with JP's non-talking behind and Uche's verbally abusive gaslighting behind instead of just giving us that footage. Now, since then, there are also allegations that there was some essay from a fifth couple that was on the Mexico trip. They were totally wiped from everything on altogether. You will not see them on a Instagram for Love is Blind. You won't see them, or you won't see them nowhere. They just wiped it all out. Now, the producers are basically saying, because they went with the whole food thing again, they're saying that they were being fed, and they did not say that she was not being assaulted, but they're basically saying that they didn't have knowledge of it. Let's just say that. She could have left when she wanted to. She chose not to, is what they're saying. They don't have that $1,000 they don't have that $1,000 fine anymore. I think it's maybe I don't know if it's $1,000 fine anymore. So yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes. And like I said, instead of getting like the was it Josh and Jacquelina, where it's like, did feel a little bad for Marshall, but where it's like, this is like, it's depressing. You had 5 couples, you wiped one out totally, got rid of the other one, which we did see them around hanging around. JP and Taylor didn't make it. I'm like, and I don't know what the reunion is going to hold. I pray that y'all don't try to do live again, because that was a disaster. We don't want to see Nick and Vanessa, but y'all don't seem to be listening to that. We shall see. We don't never get the answers we want. Are we going to have Aaliyah and Uche? Are they going to be on there? JP and Taylor, are they going to be on there? Or are you really just going to have a reunion of 4 people because why? I know, Shannon, you said they should cancel it. I mean, with this lawsuit, I don't know if they're going to have to, but I like this show. I like last season. I like one of the seasons were lackluster. I think this is 5. This is 5, right? 4 was good. Was it 3 that was lackluster? Because I think that's the one that I did, and then I had to abandon ship, and I'm debating on whether I'd ever go back and finish, because I'm just like, I like to just go back and eventually finish things, even if you guys don't watch them, just because. Anywho, we are coming up on an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up for you guys. Thank you so much for coming through. I know Tamika came through and gave me a wave. Derry was or is here. Hey, 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 girl. Shayna came through. Anybody, I'll just throw this up here whilst talking about what I got going on. Anybody coming through on the replay, please leave a comment, emoji, any of the above, all of the above, hashtag replay. I might not always respond right away, but I do respond to 90 to 95% of the comments you guys have, even if I just give it a little heart. But I do appreciate seeing what you guys have to say. Last night, the Ready to Love panel came to an end. So I did D Movie Man hosted, but I did stream it on my channel. So you can go watch it there, or you can go watch it on Shanna MCD's channel, The Bell Perspective, D Movie Man. You can go watch it on all of our channels and just hit the like button. Hit the like button. Watch it on one channel, let it play on the rest, and give us the watch hours. Yeah. So that was last night. Tomorrow is Pajama Sundays. I think the topic is going to be stress. I believe 3:45. So come through tomorrow if you can. Check me out there. Monday most likely is the other Black Girl episodes episodes 6 to 10. So come through for that. What else do I have going on? Next Saturday, which I guess I will also let you know, the next Love is Blonde. Well, actually, I'll tell you now because I'm gonna do Love is Blind on a Sunday. Next Saturday is my first Saturday sip. I got one more in the month of October. That information is on my community tab. Saturday sip, watch list, Pajama Sundays, and also tentative. I didn't tell you guys what the movie is, but I do one movie live recap a month. So that's tentatively for the 25th. That also my community tab, my watch list. Go back and check that out for September. I got most of the stuff for October, but I usually like to put them out at the end of the month. I'm debating on whether to format that differently in the new year, but for the rest of the year, we're just gonna write it out the way it is with the releases for the month at the end of the month. I know Tamika does it at the beginning. If you guys didn't check out her self-care Saturday earlier, go catch the replay. I think she also did her monthly what you should be watching early. I missed that. But sometimes I really try not to watch, not to not support her, but because I don't want to try not to do the same shows to give you guys. But just, if you're looking for something to watch, just peek in there and go through the list and be like, Also, I did add some things because the list was really, really long. So I did add some things to my community tab. You guys can go over there and check that out and see, because there's two things that I'm watching that didn't make the list that I'm actually watching now, and I'm enjoying those. And also, I'm wrapping it up, you guys. I ramble a little bit. And also, see, I always, because it's too much to put on the monthly watch list, I now put it on my community tab for like the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months. The series returning, or maybe it was this whole year I've done that. The series that are returning for the month. So it's October already. So we have this series returning for October are up there. You got Chucky, you got Basketball Wives is coming back. I will probably not be watching that one because your girl does not do no Evelyn Lozada. Like I said, the Ready to Love panel has did its last live, but we will be back in November for Married to Medicine. So stay tuned for that. Let's take this down. I appreciate you guys immensely. Whew. Somebody turn that air off. If it ain't one thing, it is your mother. It is. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming through, and I will see you in the next one.